Welcome to RUC people, and today we're going to be chatting with Susan Davis. So, welcome Susan, good morning.
Good morning to you, Russell.
Yeah. So Susan, tell us a little bit about where it all started for you. Where were you born, and tell us a little bit about your family and growing up.
Yes, I was born in Grossie Park. I'm the fourth child of 7 children.
Wow.
And I had my schooling at the primary school at John and K, and then I went to Grossie Park High. And from there, I didn't do any further education. I had to go and find work.
Well, before we get into all of that, let's stick with the childhood a little bit more. Tell us about your parents.
My parents were Joseph Hagen, he's Irish, and my mother is a coloured from Grossie Park.
Okay, how did the Irishman meet the coloured lady from Grossie Park?
The Irishman didn't speak too much. We just saw him, that's my dad, and we were just born there. He was born in Ebenezer.
Okay.
And then he left Ebenezer and he came to Cape Town, and that's where we met my mother. And the two of them got married, and out of this marriage, 7 children were born.
7 children. So what was it like being one of 7 children and you were right in the middle, number 4?
I'm in the middle, and we never had a lot of anything, but we survived. My father worked for all of us. And
what was he doing?
He was an electrician at Garden Cities in Pinelands.
Okay.
So we traveled by bicycle from Grossie Park to Pinelands every day on his bicycle.
Wow, that's a long trip by bike.
Yes, it's a long trip, and my mother never worked. She was a housewife.
With looking after 7 children.
Looking after 7 children. We didn't have a lot of everything, but you know, when we look now, we survived. We survived all of that.
And obviously, in those times, South Africa was in the grip of apartheid.
Yes.
How was that for you?
For us, we never spoke about apartheid because we had to go to church, to school, and that is where we ended. We were in a apartheid area at times, but it wasn't a topic for us to talk about. My father wouldn't allow it, and my mother, we got to live and we got to go to church. We weren't so badly off anyway, because my dad had 4 plots of ground in Grossie Park. And that time it was a lot of money to keep it going, the rates and all of that, but we did it, we managed.
And I'm assuming your father, as an Irishman, was white. There was a mixed marriage. Was that unusual at the time?
It was, but I don't know how we ran away out of Ebenezer to come and marry my mother in Grossie Park. But as of today, there's a thing of the land claims thing. And there's a lot of things going on because we are still in the process of being refunded for land claims in Ebenezer.
Wow. Okay.
We didn't get anything yet, but the news goes around that we are due for some monetary funds, but it didn't come yet.
Okay. So how was school for you in those days?
School was good. I was the captain of the netball team.
Really? Well, you're nice and tall. So.
I was nice, and I was a shooter.
Okay.
And then when I went to church, we also had a netball team, and I was a shooter there also. And that was my life, netball, the only sport that I played.
Okay. And were you a keen student? I mean, did you like school?
I did. I couldn't go much further than JC because the money wasn't there for us to get all the full monty of going to matric and all that. But as we go along in life, we've learned, and I've learned a lot. Yes.
So what did you do when you left school?
I first worked at Rex Farm in Salt River, and then not long after that, I got married.
Ah, okay. So, where did you meet your husband?
He was at school with me.
Wow.
Classic Park High, yes.
So, childhood romance.
And after 14 years of marriage and 4 children, I inherited the title of ex-wife. And, but here I am, I'm married, I was left with all my riches, my children, and we survived, and I'm a very, very happy mother.
So tell us about your children.
My children, my eldest daughter lives in Rossi Park. She's the only one that is married, the other 3 is not married.
Okay.
Yes.
Boys, girls?
1 boy and 3 girls.
Ah, okay.
And out of that, my eldest daughter's got two daughters. And the 1 daughter has got 2 children. So I'm a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother.
Wow. You're far too young, Susan.
Yes, I am.
Okay. And are you still very closely involved in your children's lives?
Very much. On a Saturday when I come and do the kitchen, they are here to help me. I supervise and they do the cleaning. But
You're well trained.
Yes, we have a very, very close-knit family.
Okay.
Very.
Okay. And where do you stay these days?
I live in the northern suburbs, I live in Elsis River, and the rest of them lives in Rossi Park.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Cool. And so you said after you left school, you started work and then you got married. Did you stop working once you got married because you had children?
Yes, I stopped working and then...
Stop paid work, I should say.
Yes.
Having children is very hard work.
But fortunately, they didn't live with me.
Yeah.
And then I did a course in home care, and then I did had my first job at Woodside Village. And then the resident priest was Douglas Banks.
Ah.
Yes, he came to visit my people that I work for. It was 2 doctors. The man was a general doctor and the wife was an anesthetist. And when Douglas Banks had an accident with his bicycle and he couldn't come around anymore. Come and do the visitation. And then this young priest came, Robert Steiner. And he asked me, like he was very talkative, and he asked me, what is your hobbies? What do you do? So I said, I love singing. And I sing in a community choir. And he said, you know, there's a choir coming to our church next week from Langa. Would you like to come and listen to them? So I said, yes. And up to this very day, I'm still visiting. And I love it here. I love it here.
So were you part of a church prior to that?
Yes, I belonged to the old apostolic church.
Okay.
Before that, and then when I got married, my husband was Anglican.
Okay.
And I went to the Anglican church.
So you had a bit of an ecumenical background, apostolic to Anglican, and now to Congregational
yes.
Presbyterian.
Yes.
Okay. And was that a difficult adjustment, from those different backgrounds to come to RUC? Like you said, you visited and then never stopped coming. So
yes, when I got here, I thought this is where I want to be.
So what was it about RUC that sort of attracted you?
Yes, the welcome that I got, a very friendly, homely welcome, and I felt at home here. I felt at home, yes. I was very welcomed by Lady Frances Bartlett. And I'm still here today.
And are you still singing?
I sang in the community choir in Elsis River for a very long time. And because of this COVID now, I don't think that we will ever sing again. But we were at this church, we did the, how great they are, the Easter cantata. We did here at this church. It was very, very, people were very happy about it and got good feedback.
So are you working now, Susan?
I'm a pensioner, housewife, and I don't do much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your interest? You know, what makes you happy? What puts a spark in your eye?
Yes, if we can, a lot of times my friend just phones and say, "You're going for coffee, are you ready?" So I said, "Yes, 5 minutes and I will be ready." Always on the ball, and our choir did a lot of singing at churches. So now we just a few of us that go to a park. So now and then, because of this COVID thing, we can't be a lot. And if people ask me to cook or to do a birthday party, I can do the tables for them. I can do all of that. Yeah.
Okay. So when you look back over your life, I mean, what have been some of the biggest challenges you've had to deal with, and how did you manage? What sort of kept you going?
Yes, and the biggest challenge was to rear 4 children on my own. My only and eldest son was 6 years old when his father left, and I thought my world was coming to an end, but it didn't. I just had to lift myself up again and say, I've got to live for my children. I've got to be strong for them. And then I had to find work again because I didn't work after I got married. And
what kind of work did you do?
in the fact out that you raised through form. And then I can't remember how my children got through matric because after next to form, I did this home care, and then I came to Woodside Village, like I said before. And then I had to be in work at 7 o'clock, and I'd get home after 7 in the evening. And then I would see the 4 children, see that they're ready for the school the next day, and leave home early again in the morning. And I really can't remember how they managed to do matric, but all of them matriculated. That was my biggest challenge, but like I said, with my family, I always was surrounded by very caring family and friends.
And has, faith been an important component for you, keeping you going through your life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. On a Sunday, it's church. On a Monday, it's school and work. But we never could stay out of church on a Sunday or bunk church. We've got to be in church. And that kept us going. Yes, religion to my parents was so important. And still today, if I'm not in church on a Sunday, I feel lost. I must be in church, otherwise my day is not made.
Okay. And so, what does the future hold for you? What are you looking forward to now?
My future, as life is now today, in this time now, my health is important, and that I could still be there for my children. And at this stage of my life, I can still do a lot of things with my children, with my grandchildren, and with my great-grandchildren. I am so part of their lives, and they are part of mine. There's not a lot of things I can do for the future because time is running out.
You're getting older.
Time is running out.
Aren't we all?
Yes. I just celebrated a birthday on the 18th of May, and don't ask me how old I was, but I actually tell you I'm a mother, like I said before, a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother. So I can't be a teenager.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Susan. It's been great to get to know you a bit better, and we've enjoyed chatting this morning.
Thank you for having me.